Reality TV viewers saw Jon and Kate Gosselin raise 8 kids, but there was a growing darkness behind the chore charts and fake smiles. Now, years after their bitter divorce, Jon Gosselin is breaking his silence to reveal long-buried truths about Kate, their children, and the emotional toll of fame from alleged abuse to total estrangement. The revelations are more upsetting than anyone expected, and they bring up the haunting question of what really happened in the Gosselin home during the rise of Jon and Kate. Plus, in the early 2000s, before social media gave everyone a stage, America was captivated by a simple suburban couple from Pennsylvania named Jon and Kate Gosselin. They weren't actors, musicians, or influencers, but what they did have was even more interesting: a whole army of children. After giving birth to twins in 2000, Kate shocked the world by saying that she had given birth to sex just 4 years later, making the family of 10 almost overnight. The media quickly took notice, and in 2005, the couple was in a Discovery show. A Health Channel special called Surviving Sextuplets and Twins got so many viewers that it was followed up with a sequel. Then in 2007, TLC started what would become one of its most famous and controversial reality shows, Jon and Kate Plus 8. Viewers were immediately drawn in by the novelty and chaos of a house with 8 young children. They watched Jon pack school lunches, Kate get the kids dressed in matching outfits, and the couple try, often unsuccessfully, to keep it together. The show gave viewers an almost voyeuristic look into their lives, a look into a family that was always on the verge of falling apart but somehow managed to stay together. But behind all the cuteness and charm, something else was going on. The family was turning into a business with book deals, speaking engagements, a house upgrade, and Kate even starting to show up on magazine covers as a kind of supermom icon. But as they became more famous, their relationship seemed less natural and more staged on camera, with Jon becoming more distant and Kate becoming more domineering. Jon and Kate Plus 8. The show got a lot of viewers, and TLC had no plans to stop the money train. At first, the carefully controlled story worked. Kate was the strict, organized matriarch, Jon was the silly, slightly stressed-out dad, and the kids were cute and relatable. But it didn't take long for the cracks to show, especially for viewers who paid close attention. Kate's harsh tone became a topic of discussion in parenting forums and groups, and she was often seen telling Jon what to do or criticizing him in front of fans of the kids on social media, argued about whether she was just a strict mom trying to keep things in order or something more controlling, and even borderline abusive. By 2008, the couple's relationship had changed a lot on screen. They were no longer affectionate, and their conversations were more transactional. Jon looked bored and uninterested in filming, while Kate became more polished and ready for performance. Some people thought she had started to see the show as her personal brand, and Jon was just an accessory. Then there were the paparazzi photos. In early 2009, Jon was seen partying with college-age women at a bar in Reading, Pennsylvania, without Kate or the kids. Immediately, rumors of infidelity spread through the tabloids, which portrayed him as a reckless, tired, and fame-hungry dad trying to regain his youth. Kate, on the other hand, was portrayed as the hurt wife trying to keep her family and her empire together. What the media didn't know at the time was that the couple had been living apart for months, and the marriage had already been falling apart, which Jon later admitted in interviews. He said that by season 4, they were barely living together. He said that TLC knew their marriage was falling apart but told them to keep up appearances to keep viewers and advertisers interested. Some people in the industry think that TLC was making too much money to let the fairy tale fall apart in public, so the network allegedly told the couple to wait to announce their split until after important episodes had aired. When they finally did go public with their divorce in a June 2009 episode, the moment felt surreal. Instead of stepping away from the cameras, Kate pushed forward with the show, renaming it Kate Plus 8, and eventually removing Jon from the title and the content altogether. That wasn't just a rebranding, it was an eraser. Jon said he felt betrayed not only by Kate, but also by the machine they had built together. He said Kate had taken control of the story, leaving him out of decisions about the show, and eventually most of his children's lives. This wasn't just a breakup, it was the start of a family falling apart. Millions of people watched the tumultuous divorce announcement on national TV. On June 22, 2009, during what should have been another family episode of Jon and Kate Plus 8. This time the family wasn't filming a birthday party or a back-to-school shopping trip. Jon and Kate were sitting stiffly on opposite ends of the couch, separated not only by cushions, but also by months of silence, anger and legal maneuvering. "Kate and I have decided to separate," Jon said, avoiding the camera with his eyes. "It's just not working out. It's not good for the kids for us to be fighting in front of them," Kate said, clearly upset. Viewers were shocked, but those closest to the couple knew the news was long overdue, and that the decision to make it public on national TV wasn't a mistake. According to multiple sources, the divorce episode was timed to air during one of the season's highest-rated shows. It's unclear whether this was TLC's decision, Kate's decision, or a joint effort by both. While the details of the scandal are still unclear, the fallout started right away. Within days, tabloids swarmed outside of Jon and Kate's home in Wernersville, Pennsylvania, and child welfare groups started to question the morality of broadcasting a family breakdown involving 8 children. Jon and Kate, who had been brought together by chaos, became bitter enemies in every custody battle in a public war. When their divorce was finalized in December 2009, it was more than just a legal dissolution. It was a full-on custody war. At the time, Jon and Kate had to split custody, even though all 8 children remained primarily in Kate. Jon said that Kate used her money and connections at TLC to control the legal process and push him out of their lives. He fought back hard, and in public. In 2010, Jon went on a media tour, talking on talk shows and gossip sites about his problems. He accused Kate of using their children for fame and emotional gain, even going so far as to ask the court to stop filming Kate Plus 8. "These are not actors, these are children," Jon told Larry King Live. "That's not entertainment, that's exploitation." But Kate insisted that the show brought in money for her and the kids. Her lawyers accused Jon of being careless and unstable, and she said he didn't want to co-parent because he wanted control. At one point, the drama got so bad that Kate called the police and accused Jon of kidnapping the kids while he took them on a long trip. No charges were ever brought, but the incident showed how their relationship had turned toxic and hostile. They were fighting over money, control of the kids' stories and public image. Kate was very careful with her branding after the divorce. She kept her media-friendly image as a working single mother, balancing chaos with grace. She competed on Dancing with the Stars in 2010, wrote several parenting books, and went on daytime talk shows. Jon, on the other hand, seemed to spiral downward. Paparazzi photos showed him clubbing, dating much younger women, and even getting multiple people with tattoos, saw him as careless, and someone who let fame get the best of him. But Jon later said that this public fall was fake. He said that TLC paid for Kate's legal fees and PR spin, while also suing him for breach of contract. When he spoke out, he said it was like David versus Goliath. He was the father who was silenced by NDAs and outgunned in court. Some people in the industry think that Kate's relationship with TLC gave her a huge boost. She had lawyers, producers, and a multi-million-dollar media company behind her, while Jon had the paparazzi, tabloids, and the reputation of being unstable. One of the most damning revelations came years later, when Jon said that he had made nothing from the show after the split, while Kate and the kids continued to make a lot of money. He even said that Kate had taken money from the kids' trust accounts to pay for her legal battle, which caused a short-lived public outrage, but never led to charges. The kids were caught in the middle. As Jon and Kate's fight played out in courtrooms, tabloids, and on talk show couches, it became clear that the real victims were not their reputations, but their children. At the center of the chaos were 8 kids who had never wanted to be famous. Twins Mia and Kara, sextuplets, Colin Hannah, Joel Leah, Alexis and Aiden, and sextuplets, Hannah Joel Leah. They grew up with boom mics hanging above their cribs, and production schedules that told them about their first steps, birthdays, and even times when they were punished or crying. Millions of people watched their fights, and when they got divorced, the cameras didn't stop rolling. Kate insisted that filming would only stop when the kids wanted it to, but critics and psychologists were worried about the long-term effects of growing up on reality TV, especially in such publicly bad situations. What the kids remember is still unclear, and probably will be for years to come. How much of their early lives were shaped by camera crews and parental conflict? How do they see the line between love and violence, control, and what version of the truth will they tell when they're ready to talk, if they ever are? In recent years, both Me and Kara have given carefully worded glimpses into their experiences. Me in particular has hinted at a tense relationship with her father by writing in a 2023 TikTok comment that she and her siblings had no obligation to forgive someone just because they're a parent. These comments suggest that the separation may not be based on facts alone, but on deep emotions, and possibly Jon still has hope, at least in public. In several interviews, he has said that he wants to get back together with all of his kids one day to explain his side, say sorry if necessary, and build new relationships. But since most of the kids are now adults, that decision is no longer in the court's hands, it's in theirs. That didn't stop Jon from speaking out. In July 2023, Jon Gosselin broke the silence with an emotional and honest interview that many saw as the end. Years of silence had worn him down to the point where he was ready to tell the truth, and he didn't hold back for many. Jon's return wasn't for fame. It was out of frustration at being painted as the absent and unstable father for over a decade. He sat down with the press to share the side of the story that had been hidden by court orders, PR spin, and years of public misconception. What he said shocked people who had been following the Gosselin saga for a long time. Perhaps the most shocking admission was when Jon Gosselin said he hadn't talked to Kate Gosselin since 2018. "There's no co-parenting," he said in the 2023 interview. "There's no relationship. We don't talk. We don't coordinate anything." It wasn't just a breakdown in communication. It was total radio silence between the parents of 8 children. Jon said that all attempts to fix their relationship had failed, and more than that, he said Kate had put up a mental wall between himself and most of his. Kate didn't say anything about these claims in public, but her silence only led to more questions. Had she really cut off all ties with Jon, both personally and as a parent? And if so, what did that mean for the Gosselin children, who are now growing up, and some are still caught in a broken story? New light on Colin's years in an institution. One of the most upsetting things Jon brought up again in 2023 was Colin's years in an institution, a chapter that many fans find upsetting. Jay told reporters that Colin's removal from public view wasn't about treatment, it was punishment, because he was asking too many questions and standing up to Kate. Jon, who said that she didn't want to deal with that, so she sent him away. Later court documents showed that Jon had fought hard to get custody of Colin, and finally succeeded when Kate didn't show up to court. He described the process as emotionally draining, and told reporters what he found when he finally got to Colin. He was thin, scared, and suspicious, like someone who had learned that adults weren't safe. This claim, which can't be fully confirmed because medical records are secret, caused a lot of debate. If it's true, it shows a very troubling lack of parental control. Even if it's only partly true, the fact remains that a father didn't know where his son was for years, and now that son lives full-time with him, away from his mother and most of his siblings. Colin has since made vague but unsettling references on social media, describing his time in institutional care as traumatic and implying long-term emotional damage. Even though Kate has denied all abuse allegations through her lawyers, she has yet to publicly reconcile with Colin, who continues to talk openly with Jon. It is rumored that she begged Colin to forgive her, but he rebuked her, because she would never admit to this without losing face. This wasn't the only wrongdoing she did against her children. In 2023, Jon brought up another one: controversy over Kate's alleged withdrawal of money from her children's trust accounts. According to court records from a 2019 custody hearing, Kate took more than $100,000 from 2 of her children's trust funds, which was supposed to be safe until the kids turned 18. Kate defended her actions at the time,
saying that the money was needed to live, and that she had borrowed it and planned to pay it back. But as of 2023, Jon said he had not seen any proof of repayment, and suggested that this was more proof that Kate used her kids' money for her own legal battles and lifestyle. The money was for their futures, not for a lawyer, a personal chef, or a publicist, Jon told her son. Some defended Kate by saying it was hard to raise 8 kids as a single mother, but others wondered if TLC's money and her public speaking gigs really made her so desperate that she would drain her kids' bank accounts. Jay's life after fame, despite his reputation as a party boy in the early 2010s, Jay's 2023 persona was quiet, introspective, and deeply family-oriented. He revealed that he was working as an IT specialist and living a simple life with his daughter Hannah and son Colin in Pennsylvania. He said that his goals were no longer focused on fame, but on reconnection. "I just want all my kids to know they're loved. They've been through more than people realize we all have." When asked about the 6 children who stayed with Kate, Jon said he respected their independence, but couldn't take them away from them. "I can't help but feel sad for them. I don't blame them. I don't think they hate me. I think they've been told things that aren't true." Jon's interview in 2023 was supposed to bring the family together, but in many ways it brought up old wounds. What came out was a story of a mother and father who once built a home on faith and fertility miracles, but now, the kids who grew up with lights and cameras were now split by silence, and fans were left wondering, was any of it real? Kate's defense in the media machine. Kate's life after her divorce included TV guest spots and her own reality show, Kate Plus 8, which aired occasionally until 2017. She later came back to TV with Kate Plus 8 in 2019, a short-lived show that showed her trying to get back into dating. In these roles, she was sure of herself and a little cold, but always portrayed as a hard-working mother who gave up everything for her kids. Every segment was carefully chosen to show her in the best possible light, but critics started to notice that some children, mostly Colin and later Hannah, weren't on the show. The reasons given were vague, and the tone was often dismissive, and soon people started to think that what people saw wasn't even close to the real Kate Gosselin. Former crew members from Jon and Kate Plus 8 have said anonymously that Kate controlled not only her home, but also the production of the show, and many said she was very aware of this. These claims have not been confirmed or denied by TLC, but the implication is that Kate Gosselin knew how to use the editing tool to her advantage. The role of the media. After the divorce, much of the mainstream press painted Jon as the unstable one, the party boy dad who dated younger women, worked as a DJ, and filed many lawsuits. Kate, on the other hand, was often portrayed as strict but fair, the mom who stayed behind to keep the house in order. But as the years went by and social media gave the Gosselin kids a voice, the story started to change. When Colin spoke out with his own voice and with Jon's full support, people paid attention. His now deleted Instagram posts showed deep emotional wounds, and though they were vague, it was clear that he did not feel safe or loved in his mother's home. Since then, Kate's media allies have decreased and tabloid articles praising her discipline have. Now there are think pieces that question how far a parent should go for fame, and whether Kate Gosselin crossed that line. Kate is still out of the public eye, and is said to be living a quiet life in North Carolina. The woman who used to be in charge of network specials and on Dancing with the Stars is said to be emotionally distant from at least 2 of her children, and completely cut off from Jon, according to a 2023 Daily Mail report. Kate has no meaningful contact with Colin or Hannah, leaving 6 children. People think that Kate has chosen to stay away from everyone because she thinks she's been wronged by a biased media and betrayed by family. Others say she may be dealing with private guilt and not knowing how to get back together with her kids after years of legal battles and emotional distance. For Kate Gosselin, the silence may not be a strategy anymore. It may be a way to stay alive since her reality show career is almost over, and her brand is going away. Kate's image as the tough, no-nonsense mom is now under attack, and if any of her 6 remaining kids ever speak out, either to defend or condemn her, it could ruin what little of that carefully kept legacy is left. The reunification question: can the family ever heal? As the years go by, the question stays: can the Gosselin family ever heal with a fractured family split not only by divorce, but also by betrayal, silence, and deep emotional scars? The road to Jon Gosselin is still the most vocal about his desire for a reunion, saying over and over that he hopes one day to be able to fix the broken relationships with his children. Whether Kate Gosselin shares this hope is still unknown. What is clear is that the Gosselin children, who are now adults, will have to find their own way, which may never include full reconciliation. The emotional split in the Gosselin family is not just a mental one. Although they live far away, Colin and Hannah's decision to move in with Jon instead of staying with their mother was a clear sign that something terrible had happened behind closed doors. As they left, they spoke of their confusion, pain, and frustration. For Colin, the years he spent in treatment are a mystery to the public, but the scars they left are clear in his behavior. "I've been through things that I wouldn't wish on anyone," he said in a short interview in 2020. Many people agree with Colin that he and the other kids were manipulated for reality TV. Colin's own problems and subsequent comments cast doubt on Kate's claims that everything was done for the kids' sake. For Hannah, her decision to leave was also based on a need for emotional stability. She hasn't directly criticized Kate, but her absence from the family does say a lot. In recent years, she has been more active on social media, sharing pictures of herself with Jon and her siblings when the family is happy. However, Kate hasn't been in any of her personal posts. "I just want peace and love in my life," Hannah wrote on Instagram. "I hope one day we can all heal. Healing may never happen." The other 6 children, especially Mie and Cara, have been less vocal about how they feel about the situation. While Mie has posted about her tense relationship with Jon, she hasn't been angry at Kate. Instead, her social media presence shows a deep ambivalence, a desire for peace, but also a reluctance to get involved in the family conflict. The Gosselin family's legacy is still being formed. The reality TV show that made them famous is now a distant memory, but it brought up a lot of questions about privacy invasion and family relationships. Will the Gosselins ever get over their public fall? Will their children ever fully escape the shadow of their parents' broken relationship? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure: the Gosselin family will always be defined by its past. Whether they embrace it or start over is up to them. How do you think events should go from here? Who do you feel most sorry for and why? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Music.